Hello, everybody, and welcome to Joe's head just smashed over at me. Welcome to Pokémon GO Podcast, where Joe makes me laugh, and that's why I do this show. I think the timing was off, but when I'm doing that voice, so the stream, right? The stream is going. That's where I see your face because you're doing something with Discord, and I don't see your face there. So I started doing like the world. I was going to do this world's okayest DM bit, and as soon as I started doing that, you're on the Twitch stream. You're hanging, it just flips right at me, and just threw me off, and I can't do it. Can't do it. So, hey Joe, how you doing this week?
I'm doing super good.
Okay.
How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Normally we jump into the experiences of the week or that kind of thing. However, Creeper Kid 22 live in our chat right before we went live asks us, what do you think about the shaman and the special research?
Mm.
I added the. He didn't say the. I said the. I didn't mean to make him sound ignorant. I mean, you know what I'm saying. But what do you think, Joe? What do you think about shaman, however it's pronounced in the special research?
I mean, I'm not surprised, but because at GoFest we already got shaman, so it's just a matter of time before everyone else would get it too. So I don't think I would. And
it's a good thing. It's a great thing.
Yeah. I haven't looked at it, but I assume that it'll be the same way as they've done in the past, where the people who already have shaman will just get candy at the end of the event instead of getting another shaman. So,
DooleyProductions has subscribed. We need to talk to you, Dooley. I don't know if you've heard, but we wow. No, Joe, this is not how you end the show, Joe. You don't burn it to the ground like the Muppet Show did in 1980, whatever. You get your act together so people will follow you to the next thing, Joe.
It wasn't me. It was someone who joined.
No, Joe. It was your box. I saw you. It was you. It's you. I'm sorry, everybody, that he's blaming you guys. I'm sorry. But Julie, we're moving houses here in a couple weeks. I didn't know if you knew about that, but hey. What? So,
hey! Niantic still has 10 days to fix their.
Well, we got some news about Niantic with that. So Creeper Kid, I think it's great. I think it's pretty awesome that Shaman is out there now for everybody to get. That wasn't able to get them at the event, and I hope you knocked that out. And they're trying to get a shiny Drillbur, which everybody's wanting that. So good luck to everybody there. Well, before we get to the live chat that we got going on and this and that and the other, Joe, do we want to do some experiences of the week?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
Is that a hard, strong maybe?
It's a hard, strong maybe. So, yeah, like the past couple of episodes, I've logged in, caught a few Pokemon here and there, and maybe battled Team Rocket, and that's been about it for each day. So there's nothing exciting in my box for the last 7 days. So gotta
before we roll on to everybody's experiences, I pinned the Discord thing as a message. I don't know if that pins just for me or for everybody else. So
it pins for everybody.
All right, good. So the Discord's there if you're live. You can jump in and chat with us tonight. We'll explain why we're doing that here in a second to the podcast. But Civilian hacked his Switch, so now he can back up all his saves. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
Yeah. Nice.
I wasn't looking at the right Discord. I'm like, where'd that voice come from? What is going on? Scared me a little bit.
No, man. Yeah. So let me pull up the experiences of the week here in the Discord.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. So I didn't see a voice come. But nothing wrong with it. It got me. Lincoln Prime has a Hawlucha. Caught a Hawlucha this week. Oh, duly noted is the last experience of the week right now, and that's how things are going. And duly noted experience is him taking a screenshot, having long pressed Pokemon Go, and he's highlighting with a blue arrow the uninstall button.
Yep. And why does that figure in the icon next to him looks so much like you or remind me of you.
He's playing a game called Landlord and just says it's me. And you know, it's not that
does
far
look
off.
like you.
It doesn't look that much like me. So Dooley, you're here.
It looks like some of the Mid-Journey pictures you had generated.
You know, you're not wrong. Did I share those in our Poke Gallery? I don't remember.
I think so.
I think I did.
Check.
But so Dooley, did
Yes,
you
did.
uninstall the game?
I did. I didn't delete my data. I mean, I'm giving them the chance. At some point, I don't want to, burn the bridge, but I'm not happy with all the stuff that's going on right about now, as we all are.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But I mean, even deleting your data, it doesn't delete like your account. So if you deleted the data, it would just delete if you had pre-downloaded all of the art assets, and it would delete your login information.
Oh, I know that. What I mean is there's an option in Pokemon. If you go into the settings, there's an option to delete your account. I didn't do that. I didn't go that far.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't care if it deletes the data on the phone, because if things go well, when they say things go south when they're bad, so if things go north, then maybe I will reinstall it, and then I could download any data, and my account will still be there. So see what happens. But yeah, it's more than just the remote raid thing. It's just, if you look, somebody had put together a list of all the things that they have changed this year alone. And each one, if you add it up, it's like they just don't care about the players. And you know what? I have other ways of playing Pokemon. They're going to have the DLC on the main series game. I mean, I'll miss it. But yeah, until they realize that, we're the ones playing the game, they'll realize their mistake. When enough people uninstall it, they will realize their mistake.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
And we've got a pretty big chat.
Can I jump in?
Yeah, jump in, Rock Eddie.
Yes.
So just when we're talking about this, I really want to jump in. So I put the exact opposite. I love these new features. I moved to a new city about 4 months ago. Pokemon Go was dead. I could never find a player. There was no community. Ever since the Reggie raids, I have found so many players. I've been making a new community. I'm enjoying the game now more than ever. Since before COVID started. When COVID started, I quit. I stopped playing. I just now started playing more and more. So for me, this is a great thing. I think Niantic finally fixed Pokemon Go, in my opinion.
I love it. So before we really get into all that chat there, and because we do want to talk about what we love, I'll tell you what we're doing tonight, and if you haven't followed the recent episodes, and then we'll take the break, and then we'll come back and we'll just talk and hang out and have fun. But it's not any one feature, I guess, but Joe and I definitely have felt disheartened over the last year as creators with this game, and it got to the point for us as a company that Niantic just didn't vibe with what we wanted to vibe with. And so we've decided to bring Pokemon Go Podcast itself to an end, but he and I have already spun up a new show that is on this feed called Wise and Nerdy, and that is what's going to be the next thing for us. But we wanted to go out with how we came in. Happy, positive, loving. That was our whole goal with this show from the get-go. Let's build a great community of what people love. So when we come back from the break, well, of course, we'll talk about some of the stuff we don't like in the game, but I think we're all going to really hit on why we played it, why we loved it, why we keep it on our phones. And I love hearing that perspective of, some people think they've actually fixed the game and not broken it. But we'll get to all of that right after this.
Dun, 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 dun.
I'm almost tempted to come back like, all right, we'll go Jerry Springer now. Okay, Rocket, you're going to throw the chair at Duly Noted.
Duly noted.
You don't know me. Is Charles even game anymore? Oh, my God. That cut to the core. That cut so hard, Kurt. Come on, man. I guess I deserve it, but, dude, that was a good shot right there.
Yeah. So you said going out how we came in, right?
Yeah. Oh, shimmy.
Got to get my due on. Huh? For the most part, yeah. It's not full, like the flavor isn't fully back, but it's close enough.
Oh, good. All right. I don't have any. I got to go with a specific. No, that'll be next week. What would I do
for a Klondike bar?
What would you do for a Klondike bar?
Punch a dog in the face.
Wow.
All right, you know what? Here we go. I got it. All right, here we go.
Classic.
All right, Lindsay.
It's your favorite, Joe, the one that always gets us silenced on YouTube.
Oh, I absolutely love Lindsay Sterling.
She is so good.
Yeah.
I've
So
seen her
good.
in concert. She is awesome.
Oh, wow. We haven't done that. Well, as you can tell, we're back into the show here, and there's some breaking news while we were stepped away from the mics. Joe has gone back to his roots. Joe, you said, I said we're going to go out the way we came in, and you're like, what? Hold on a second. I got you. And what do you have, Joe? What do you have?
I've got myself a Mountain Dew tonight.
Mountain Dew. There it is.
Do the dew.
There it is. Kurt came in, and he swings away. And Kurt Booten is working on a new show himself that I don't know if he's ready to announce, but I can tell you it's got a really great
voice,
really great heart to it. It's absolutely got a great voice. He's got the best voice. But it's gonna. I think it's gonna reach a lot of people. It's gonna be amazing when he's ready to go with that. So that's really cool. All right. So who do we have on with us? We got Duly Noted. We got Rock Eddie.
We've got Doof of a Kid.
Oh no!
It is I.
No. All right. Hey, Doof. Oh, roll tide. Go get it, boy. Go get the roll tide. You got it.
Ooh. I better go get it.
This is.
He's
too good. I was about to actually introduce him, and he from the podcast sessions. Oh, I gotta go. And he kicks off of the.
And now he's back.
But this is Tambourine Jr., who has come out to many of the events with there, and we have got. Oh, did Creeper Kid not get into the chat?
So Creeper Kid joined the Discord, but is not in the chat.
Okay, well, Creeper Kid, you're welcome.
But
to jump into the
he did share an experience of the week as soon as he got in here.
All right, what do we got?
Creeper Kid got a shiny Starly this past week. So pretty awesome, and he's especially happy because apparently he's had a month-long shiny drought besides Community Day. So he's pretty stoked about that.
That's cool. And Mr. Tambourine himself is in here. So, all right. So Rock Eddie, you say you believe that they fixed the game. So let's give a little bit of history for people who don't know about Rock. Is that very community driven? When this game started, you were one of those top communities out there where people just came together, and I think your community actually went above and beyond by raising money for charity and doing all kind of cool stuff. But why don't you give just a brief synopsis of what used to happen before COVID when you were playing?
All right, so back when Pokémon GO came out, it was great. It was amazing, of course. But of course, it died out. Now, when Raids came out, that's when I started building my community. Because we need help. You can't do a raid by yourself.
Sure.
So we got together. We started working together. And it was amazing. I made a bunch of friends. I made my girlfriend, well, ex-girlfriend now, through Pokemon GO. And the community was amazing. We had like 4,000 members in our chat. And it was always active. I had to like mute that chat because it was so active. We had so many barbecues, hangouts, PvP tournaments. It was a lot of fun. Most of our tournaments were like anywhere from 40 to 70 players. We loved it. And of course, COVID ruined everything for like everything else. And for me, I love getting together with fellow nerds, fellow gamers. That we can talk about nerdy stuff. And then I can talk about anime all day long, nonstop. By the way, Demon Slayer, love it.
Nice.
But for me, like once Remote Raids came out, it ruined it for me because nobody wants to go out. Nobody wants to meet up. They're like, just send me an invite. I'll be fine. I'll do it from the restroom. I'll be fine. Nobody wants to meet up. Nobody wants to talk in person anymore. And I understand why it was being safe. I do get it, but it's just not the same. For me, I'm like, why would I play this game from home when I could play Final Fantasy, Genshin Impact, so many other better games at home? For me, at home, it's not fun.
So I have a question for you.
What's up?
Do you think they could have achieved more people raiding in person by highly incentivizing in-person raids rather than
Definitely. Yes.
hurting people who wanted to remote raid?
So I think that in-person rates should have a higher shiny rate and more XL guarantee candies. Those are the two things players want. That we should get. Why not?
Yeah, well, and especially the shiny rate, I think is very important because a lot of hardcore players that are raiding heavily, they want shinies and they want XL candy, just like you said. And so,
Oh, bro, real quick. With hardcore players, I have a friend. He did 157 Rayquaza raids before he got his first shiny. That's just ridiculous. That's too much.
That is very much ridiculous. And so, yeah, I fully support that suggestion. I don't think, well, and we've voiced this over and over, I don't think they went about it the right way, but I do think they should have provided a lot more incentive to raid in person, just in general. So,
and the one thing I will say is that I am very against them increasing the price of remote raids. I understand they gotta make up the money they're gonna lose by restricting the amount of raids, but nobody's happy about that, especially because it's like what 195. Why is it that number? That's so annoying to me. Just make it 200, please. Like it being that number is like Steve's going crazy.
But no. The argument of the money they're going to lose is a straw man argument because we're talking about going from $1 billion company to a $900 million company. That's not even a real number, right? But it's like they're not losing money. They're not going to bring in as much profit, which is a different ballgame.
Yes.
They don't have to punish their people for it. That's okay.
My guess is they're not going to recoup the cost, even selling it at a higher price. I think they are still going to have a net loss in profits from this.
So
I understand the reason why it's 195. I mean, that makes perfect sense. It's the same reason why when you go to get gasoline, they price it in 9/10 of a cent. That's why everything, you go to a store and something is, $499.95 because psychologically it's not $200. Okay,
Yeah.
it's $500. It's not $500. It's
How much
less than that. That $400 makes it, even though it's only a penny less, it makes it seem like it's $100 less.
How much is the 3-pack, Joe?
Oh, of the raid passes, it's like
Yes.
$5.25, I think. Yeah, $5.25.
Okay, so you do get a little bit of a deal there because if you just bought 3 straight up, it's $5.85. But it went away so fast. Like, wait a minute.
Yeah, but basically, you get 550 Pokecoins for $5. So
yeah, so their 3-pack is more than $5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now talking about it, 3 packs a day. It makes me think I'm smoking cigarettes or something.
Stop smoking.
So for some people, it's the same kind of habit. I do want to hear from, now, to be fair, I've clarified it a dozen times. I'm sticking with it. I said Bidoof, Bidoof, Bidoof of a kid, because that's his favorite. Somehow you guys changed it to Doof of a kid. I'm just saying, but I would like to hear what he thinks about what's going on in the game and if he's still loving it or if he's upset.
Right. So, Pokemon Go, I usually play with my dad, as you would know, and the game's good and all, but it's kind of falling off mainly because there's not really any cool events happening anymore. The Slowpokes, the shinies were kind of disappointing because Slowpoke just does not have a good shiny. Let's be honest. So I've just been playing my own games at home, like Risk of Rain.
All right. What about the shiny Drillbur and the shaman research? Shaman. Dang it.
You had one jump. Honestly, the shiny shaman honestly does look cool. I personally didn't really play that event.
Well, Tambo, Mr. Demarine, what about you? Are you middle ground? Are you out of the game? Are you loving it?
Do you still claim Doof of a Kid as your kid?
I do. He doesn't really play it unless I'm drag him out with me. The money, the cost is not really the issue for me. What's got me turned off of the game is Niantic just doesn't seem to want to listen. Doesn't want to listen to anyone, and I don't know why it surprises me they haven't listened.
Well, hearing Eddie's take on it and hearing what their statements have always been, that they essentially want to force us into the outer world. Maybe it's just we don't want to listen. Maybe we liked where the game went. A lot of us, not maybe the majority. It doesn't really matter. It's not a democracy. It doesn't care if we vote or not. But maybe we liked where it went during COVID, which was never what they wanted. And there is a strong contingency that wants what they're doing right now. I'm with you. Obviously, that's why I took out the game. It's like, no, this isn't for me anymore. But
the funnest part of the game was the community aspect, the getting out, getting with the friends and such.
Yeah.
But I think Niantic has turned so many people off that, like in my local community, nobody's getting out for raids anymore, even with the jump in remote raid passes. People just aren't doing it. The weather's been perfect. Nobody wants to do it.
Yeah. Lincoln Prime in chat says no one in Arizona wants to be outside in the summertime. Which I've heard that a lot. Now, Lincoln, I think you're in our Discord anyway, but if you're not, it's there. You can get in the live chat if you want. I am very happy to hear, Eddie represent a faction of people who was like, no, this is amazing. This is exactly making me happy. This is exactly what I want to do, because that's how a game should be played in my mind. Is you should enjoy what you're doing.
I do agree with him on that aspect of it, and it's not necessarily just the fact that they raised the prices. Like I said, it's a lot of it is the fact that they don't listen to the community, but also with the increase in prices and people not wanting to take the risk, spending $2 and maybe you won't even catch it. Now, when you go to a raid in person and there's not enough people to take down that 5-star raid, you're there and maybe there's 2 other people there. Well, then there's nothing you could do. And if people don't want a remote raid to join those other slots to help you beat that legendary, you're not going to do the raid in person because you can't beat it with just 2-3 people. If there's not 6 people waiting to do that raid, you're SOL, unfortunately. Yeah, that's part of the problem.
Well, and I can't help but feel that Niantic doesn't actually care if people are playing as long as they have Adventure Sync turned on and your location data turned on. Always turned on, because they're still collecting your data even if you're not playing. If you don't,
that's what it's all about.
Yeah, if you don't turn it off, if you don't turn those off or delete the app, they're still collecting your data. And
that's why I uninstalled it.
Yeah, so they don't. In one aspect, they don't care if you actually play as long as you leave it connected on your phone.
Now
here's the funny part about that is that, yes, I uninstalled it for that, and that's part of the reason. Yet I still play NBA All World, which is another Niantic game.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that. There's a headline out right now. It's the last one there in the chat, Joe, if you want to grab it and throw it to Discord. But the announcement came out this week that Niantic is teaming with Capcom to introduce a Monster Hunter Now game, which is a Pokemon clone. What do you guys think about that?
Well, maybe that's why they're making all these changes to Pokemon Go, so people will quit the game, leave the game. They can cancel whatever their contract is that they have to pay to the Pokemon company and Game Freak, and switch everybody over to this new Pokemon clone.
Sure. Maybe.
I don't know. Just throwing it out there.
It's a definite possibility.
Joe's first response when so the Demon Fillery sent this link to me, and I forwarded
sent
it
to
Joe.
Me too, by the way.
Did it?
Yeah.
Well, okay, that's all right. Now wait a minute.
It's not gonna be that cool. There's no way.
Take me to church, my brothers and sisters of the Poke Church of the Arceus Saints. We cannot have cheating and backstabbing in our religion here. You cannot send it to one and then send it to another. This is why we must excise the demon and have him just go sell some apples at a farm. Amen. Take me to church. But I did send it to Joe, not knowing that Phil had sent it to him. And Joe's first response was, "Yeah, it ain't gonna work." He's like, "It's not gonna go anywhere." But what is it? But is anybody excited about Monster Hunter? And or do you care? I mean, do you? To be
I
real,
really hope it's good.
I'm sorry. I know I asked a question. I kept talking, and that's my bad. But Pokemon has definitely outlasted them all. So now I'm going to shut up.
It looks like Lincoln Prime wanted to chime in.
All right, Lincoln.
I'm not excited about it.
Four score and hurry up now.
Can you hear
He's
me?
muted.
Yeah, I could hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not
I
excited
think
about
you
it
can't hear
at
it.
all. I just think it's another.
There's no way you can hear
Pokemon
it
Go.
because he's on mute.
I'm not on mute.
He's not on mute. I could hear him.
Why is it on mute on my side, not your side?
Apparently, you muted him at some point, and that's a personal mute, not a.
I see how it is. Okay.
Wow.
We all
Oh.
hear.
Wow, Charles.
Yeah, hide your face in shame.
How do you say
I'm on.
shame? Shame on Charles. Okay.
Oh my God, you're breaking me.
He's
tonight.
dying.
All right, I'm sorry for talking over you. I couldn't hear you. Carry on.
Sorry, my dog's barking. No, I think they want to do away with Go and have somebody else take it. I think they're trying to force Pokemon, like the company, to bolt so they can go and do their own thing. And I think they're just tired of it. That's what I think.
Do you think?
Where I'm at, we've got a really good community. Lots of groups get together still, and I mean, like on Community Day when it was over, we all met in the park and did Golden Wars, and for half an hour and exchanged friendships and all that good stuff. So, but I don't see the logic in what they're doing. All I see is them just like trying to force something, and that's kind of what it seems like to me. I
So
think they're trying to force a way out of it.
you said that they wanted to hand it off to someone else. Do you think that they would actually give it to another company, because that includes a lot of their proprietary AR development?
I don't think they would. I mean, there'd definitely be money changing hands if that were the case.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I think they just don't want to do it anymore. I think they're tired of trying to live up to the expectations of the community as they should. You know, because we are the ones who play the game. We're the ones who pay the money to play the game. But I think either something changed somewhere along the line, and I think they're just tired of it, and they want to force it on to or force somebody to leave so that they don't have to deal with it.
Yeah, it definitely feels like they're just maintaining the least viable product on it.
And if somebody does take it over, where are they going to have to get that data from? Oh, that's what they sell. They're not a game company, like you always say. They're an AR company. So if someone else takes over the game, they can license it out. The data,
Exactly.
the AR.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and even on their own website, they say mapping the world to the centimeter. Like that is one of their directives, according to their website, is to map the world to the centimeter.
Now I see somebody else joining us. I want to talk to them in a second. But Eddie, on the thoughts of some other company running it, and even Dooley, because you said you might get back in if things go north and get better. But Eddie, would you follow the game if it went into a new developer's hands?
Honestly, I've been a Pokemon Go fan since the beginning, and I know a lot of players that are never going to put the game because they love Pokemon Go so much. We may not play for months. I've put the game about like 20 times now. I've been started like 3-4 times, and I always come back because it is a fun thing to do when you go out walking. I mean, for me, the main reason why I play Pokemon Go is when I go walk. For me, that's what it's for. It's not for me to be home in my bed or in the toilet playing. Maybe for PvP, but that's it. But for me, I'm probably never gonna stop. Now, to being honest, I'm gonna play as hardcore as I used to, but it will be part of me because I am that Singapore grandma that I go walk and I just play for fun. I just enjoy the casual aspect of it so much that I like that part plus the community. So for me, I'm probably never gonna stop, no matter how bad it gets for some people. You don't have to spend money in this game. You don't have to do any of the remote raids. That's a choice. Before COVID, remote raids weren't even a thing. And now it is, and people were so mad about it. Imagine they took it away. So for me, I'm never going to quit. Probably not. If I do quit, I'll come back eventually.
All right. I got
And
you.
I probably will come back because even if it doesn't go north, I know I'm going to miss the game, and I'll probably be coming back. But right now I'm definitely making a statement, and other people are too, uninstalling it, and that's the whole point. So yeah, I probably will come back because I love Pokemon. I may not be happy with where they're going with it and what they're doing, but I will miss the game, I'm sure.
Yeah. So in the chat here we have Blame Jamal from the Way Spotters podcast, and he's invested way more than a lot of people because of his all of the work he's put into getting new stops and stuff and points of interest added to the game. So I'd like to hear what Jamal has to say about the direction that Niantic is going.
Is that Blame Jamal or Catch Jamal?
I'm sorry, Jamal. We need to change your branding for you right now.
Call me what you want, just don't call me late for dinner. That's what I like to say.
I think it's picking up the wrong microphone for you because you sound like you're a million miles away.
How's that? Is that better?
That's a lot better.
We will call you late for dinner, but I will call you to get on the microphone.
Yes. All right. So, thanks, Joe, for bringing me on, and Charles, it's good to hear your voice, like not in my car.
No, I'm in your bedroom now.
Yeah, I know, right? I've been listening to you guys for a long time, way before I even had my own podcast. And I appreciate what you guys are doing. And if you guys are truly sunsetting, I'm really sad about that. But I'd listen to you guys read the phone book. So whatever you guys choose to do, I'll follow you.
Oh, thank you.
But when it comes to Pokemon Go, I disagree a little bit with what some of the other people say. Being in the Wayfarer space and having the conversations that I've had with Niantic people and Niantic adjacent people, they're not going anywhere. So their plan, like Joe said, is to map the entire world. The way I interact with the game mostly is through my podcast, Way Spotters Podcast, and putting things on the map. I've reviewed almost 40,000 points of interest, and I've had about 500 personally go on the map that I have, nominated. And what I see Niantic doing is really building the AR space. So if you guys aren't up on the Lightship, look up Lightship, Google it, and you'll see what Niantic is really doing. They really want everyone to scan everything so they can build this metaverse of the world. And Pokemon Go fits into it because it's free labor, right? All of my people who follow me that do Wayfair, it's free labor. We're scanning, we're putting points of interest on the map, and they would be foolish to let Pokemon Go, the IP, go. I don't see any way that they're doing that. If anything, they're doubling down by getting us outside because they need that Lightship database full.
Right. I see. I'm looking at Lightship now. I see exactly. I think we looked at it when they first came out, and I can see more of how they've updated things. And no, I get you. It comes down to, look, sometimes as a business, you got to make decisions that people won't like and maybe won't even understand. And this Lightship site, goes back to my argument that it's not a gaming company, it's a data AR company, right? And I'm with you, Jamal, that they don't want to lose the IP, but they want this data. So us doing remote raids and only playing 1/3 of the game, as in never going out and catching stuff or PvP battling, but we're just remote raiding, doesn't get them what they want. And even if they what was their highest user count at some point, at their best point back before COVID?
Oh, I have no idea.
But it was lots, right? Let's make up a number. What's a good big number? 40 million, 100 million?
100 billion.
All right, so
$1 million.
I don't know how to look at specific times, but I found a website that says in February of 2022, so a little over a year ago, it had 8.6 million active players.
I think that's come down to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really high before.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see if
71 million. In 2021, there were 71 million Pokemon Go users worldwide, down from 113 million in 2019. Pokemon Go had 133 in 2018, from its peak at 232. Okay, so this is from Tech Jury. They wrote the numbers backwards, so I apologize, everybody. But it's 232 million users in 2016. So That's a huge drop, right? That would be a failure in most books, but not for Niantic. Not they're really getting the data that they want to get out of this.
Well, Charles, one thing you have to remember is if you're Niantic, you don't need all the users, right? We love the IP. We love Pokemon. They love data. They are a data company. They don't need all of us, right? And they've made that very clear. They need a very specific and select few people who play the game, who will do it the way they want to do it. The people behind the Here's Niantic movement want things to be the way they should be in a virtual Pokemon world. Right. Niantic is looking at it through their lens, and they're using the IP. So, in essence, the people that are pushing the Here's Niantic are weeding themselves out. They're thinning the herd out, and Niantic is going to start to pander to the people who are playing it their way, and they're going to get the rewards. So in a way, you're kind of cutting off your nose to spite your face. I don't believe the game or the IP is going anywhere, and the people who play the way Niantic want them to play are going to get rewards, and everyone else is going to be kind of sitting on the bench.
Yeah. You got a great voice. I love when somebody takes what I wanted to say and says it better. There you go. You know, but no, that's
Can I jump in?
Yeah, jump in.
Just because Jamal's here, by the way, I love your podcast. I've said so many people your way whenever they ask me about our nominated stuff.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
So what I'm going to say is a very unpopular thing to say, and people might get mad about what I'm going to say. I'm going to say it. So I think Pokemon Go players are very lazy. There's so many of them that they could make Pokestops, could make gems. But they do one, they fail, and they stop. I know so many players that did 1, 2, and never tried again. And they never found out why they didn't work. I made over probably like 100 gems, so which does 200 Pokestops in my old city. And now in my new city, I'm doing it again. I've already made about 30 Pokestops, about 10 gems. And I love it. And I would go to all these rural cities where they said, I have nothing, I have 1 gem, I have nothing. I went there, I made like 10 Pokestops, and it was so easy. I just think players are so lazy, they don't want to really try to put in the work. Because honestly, it is boring. It's so boring to submit a Pokestop. It really is. I hate doing it sometimes, and I will get lazy. But if you do it, it's awesome getting so many gems. My apartment complex, when I moved here, I had 1 Pokestop. Now I have 2 gems and 8 Pokestops. Now I'm about to make 5 more. So it's not that hard. You just got to put in the time, and it is boring, but get through it.
So
and for sure, do review.
No, exactly. You put the work in. So what I hear Rocket saying is, Dooley, why are you so damn lazy? You know, that's what he's saying.
Exactly.
Right?
That's what I said.
Okay, cool. Gotcha.
Hey, I'm in Los Angeles. I have plenty of Pokestops and gyms. That's not the issue.
I was just messing with you. We were joking in the break that we're making a Jerry Springer thing where we throw chairs and stuff, but no. You know, that's an interesting point, but everything is pointing to that. So let's get back to what we love about it. Why did we get into it? You know, and I was reading that Lightship page, and you scroll down, there's different things of what they're doing, and one of them was elevating brands into a memory. Was it memorial? I can't say it, Joe. Oh God, dude. Okay, but anyway. Memorable. Thank you. Memorable experience. See, at least somebody helps out around here. And it dawned on me. Okay, if that's one of their mission statements, elevating brands into a memorable experience, they've done that. Pokemon Go has forever changed the gaming landscape. It will go down in the history of games for what it's done. So they have absolutely achieved that. Even for those, even when we didn't play it, was the Hogwarts Wizarding World, right? Mm-hmm. That was a memorable experience for people who loved Harry Potter, as was shutting it down. People remember that too.
Not memorable enough.
There's Pikmin out there, and now you got NBA All-Star, and then the Monster Hunter franchise. You know, the other thing too is, Joe, what do you think about this? And then we'll throw it around to everybody else too. Is how long for an ongoing game? We're living in a new age, right? Of gaming where games just don't end. They just go on forever, depending on what kind of game it is. How long, as a average player, do you think you really should expect yourself to be in love with the game?
I mean, the franchise I'm going to love forever. You know, Pokemon is awesome. But the game itself, especially a mobile game, it because of how quick mobile phones are developing and increasing and getting better and better, it's gonna be hard to maintain. I mean, 7 years is a long time. They've got a lot of shoddy code. We know they do. They know they do. And they're not going to go back and fix that code. And the shoddy code is just going to be more and more pronounced as phones get better and better, in my opinion. And so it's going to get to the point where not only is it not the experience we want, because that's where Niantic is taking it. It's not the experience that most gamers want, I should say, because Rocketti is loving it. There's other people Rocketti that are loving the changes.
Phil's loving the collection aspect of it. There's definitely still people who enjoy the game,
but it for a lot of people, this is the past year has been a trial by fire, and it happens with all mobile games that are updated as regularly as this. Is you make changes, there's going to be a lot of people that hate it and leave because of that, or they just get bored because you're not doing anything new and innovative, and that's the reality. So they're just going to keep. I don't see the player base increasing in any significant way ever again, to be honest, unless they come out with something like crazy good, and then it won't be new players for the most part. It'll be returning players who will probably then get bored of it again after the whatever event brought them back into it.
Yeah. I just found the site. I wanted to see what they've lost, right? And I discovered a site called activeplayer.io. And it's activeplayer.io/Pokemon-Go. I'll put it in the show notes, Joe, and you can put it wherever you want. I'm just putting it out to the side here. Come on. There it is. I put it out. Nope, that's not the right logo. Why did it not copy? Okay. I'm going to just talk about what I was going to talk about. I'll put the link in a minute. But it's live player count is what it says it is. And so it says currently Pokemon Go live players, online players in the last hour, 589,509. Active players over the last 30 days, 79 million, basically 79.4 million. 79.4 million has been active in the last 30 days. Pokemon Go has lost over the last 30 days 400,000 users. That's not even a drop in the bucket, right? Compared to what's going on.
It's a lot less than I thought it would be, to be honest.
Yeah, that I was too. That's why I wanted to break it up. Is that now I don't know anything about this site. I've never dealt with it before. Just discovered it, so it could be a complete hoax. But those numbers seem to be in the ballpark of what's been reported publicly in the last few years. And you can actually scroll down and see average monthly players and monthly gains and losses. March of 2023, they gained 946,000 users over the last 30 days, which would cover March too, but over the last 30 days, they've lost 400,000. February, they gained 780,000. January, they gained 983,000. So it's an interesting chart to look at. I mean, it's as with anything, everybody's going to be happy and sad. You can't please them all. So, Jamal, I wanted to know what got you into playing this game, and then even going so far as to making a podcast about how to improve the game, essentially.
Interesting story. So I'm going to be 50 in June. I'm an old guy, right? So when Pokemon came out, I was in my 20s. I was in college, so I was not the target demographic at all. When Pokemon Go came out, there was all the hype about it day 1, day 2. And on day 3, a buddy of mine that I worked with was like, hey, man, you got to download this game. We're all going downtown this weekend. And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, everybody's going to be chasing Pikachu because that's the only Pokemon I knew. I knew Pikachu and Metagross and Charizard. Those were the 3 that I knew. And I downloaded it, and kind of like everybody else, I got caught up in the hype, and it was awesome. And my wife to this day still makes fun of me and calls me a dork. But I learned the first 151, and then people were talking about Gen 2 and Gen 3, and I'm like, what are you talking about? I started to learn. I listened. I got educated, and I got out and I was walking. And the next thing you know, I'm in the cemetery at midnight, walking around catching things. And it was just one of those things where it wasn't necessarily the Pokemon that kind of drug me in. It was the community. We had a really good community here in Charlotte of everybody getting together and doing things together. And I loved it. Now I'm like the only one playing out of that group. And I'm at like 315 million XP now. I'm just a hardcore grinder. And so that's what kind of brought me in, was just kind of my friends and all that were playing the game. Then I got to love it. Then it was just like, oh, somebody's got a better Pokemon than me. Then I've got to go out and catch 10 or 15 more so I can get the hundo and I can get the shiny and I can get this and that. And then how I got to have a podcast was when I figured out that you could add points of interest to the game. Niantic does a terrible job of communicating, so I found it out from like people and like Reddit and these other things, and it was just like everybody's like, you have to find someone that plays Ingress, and they have to submit it for you. And I'm like, what's Ingress? Like, why do I have to go to another game? So I started playing Ingress, and I had an Ingress agent tell me early on, I'm not putting that in for a Pokemon Go player. You guys suck. And I'm like, okay, all right, you know what? Fine. So I started playing Ingress and I grind it. Now I'm level 15 in Ingress. And then I was just like, I can take a picture of this and submit it. And in a month or 2 or 3, it'll show up in the game. And it just caught a bug. And then I just did it. And I've had like 500 in the game now. And deep down, I've always wanted to have a podcast. I've listened to you guys since the beginning, and I've listened to, a couple other podcasts. I won't say them on your show, but people know them.
You can talk about it.
Like Lured Up, like Ken's my buddy. Like Ken's one of my best friends.
My show. Don't talk about Ken. He's great. He's great.
So I'm on Ken's podcast network, so I'm on his network. So he's my boss. So I've always wanted to have a podcast, and I'm like, I'm starting to learn quite a bit about Wayfarer. So I started a podcast with Wayfarer with a guy in Australia that I never met him twice after we had done the podcast for a while. And it just got to the point where I got passionate about putting things on the map and, enriching players' games. And people say there's nothing in my area. And I'm like getting on Twitter. I'm like, dude, DM me. We will get on IITC right now. I'm looking at your city. I see 10 things that you can submit. I'll help you write the description. And that's how it kind of got started. Nice. And I've helped people literally all over the globe write descriptions, give them ideas of what they submit for Pokestops. And, I tell anybody that listens to my podcast, call our hotline number, email me, give me a zip code and a intersection, and I will drive the Google car around and find it. And I think you really can help. It's so unique. Like Pokemon Go is so cool. There's like live things in front of you, and like you can say this statue over here needs to be a Pokestop or a gym, and you have some agency to go in and make that happen. And I don't know of any other game where one person can have that effect. So that's kind of my story.
I dig it. I dig it. Other than the Ken love, I can follow. I can follow all of it. It's good.
He's supposed to be here tonight, I thought.
He was supposed to be here. He decided not to show up, I guess. GoCast was going to come too, but he got called.
It is 420. It's celebrating.
What was that?
It is 420. He's probably celebrating. Oh, he forgot.
So for Doof of a Kid, let your dad explain. Roll Tide. Lincoln Prime. Lincoln Prime.
Yes.
Yeah, what got you into the game? Because I thought it was a very passionate and interesting take from Blame Jamal there about it. It is so unique. It is such a different way to interact with communities and people. What got you doing this game?
Well, I was always a Pokemon fan. It came out right after I got out of the Navy. And like when I was in the Navy, we couldn't watch it. We didn't have cover, those channels where you could see that. And then I, moved home and started watching it, got hooked on it, got kind of caught up in the whole gotta catch them all kind of thing. When this game came out, I didn't even know it was coming out. I was like on vacation with my family when it came out in California. And when we got back, I'm looking around and I see all these people walking around in the streets. And I get to work the next day and everybody's walking around the office with, looking at their phones. I'm like, what's going on? And they told me. And so I downloaded the game and I kind of got hooked ever since. And then like about 6 months after that, I wound up getting divorced. It was a hard time, and the community around here really kind of was there for me. And like, ever since then, we've been really good friends. We got in, 4 of us got into a car and drove 200 miles this weekend down to Oslo, Arizona. And if you've ever been to Oslo, Arizona, it's not a very big town, but that kind of camaraderie and stuff like that. We were hunting halucha. We found a couple of halucha down there. And we, and it was all about that, but it was about the friendship and stuff like that. And that's just like invaluable to me. And that's kind of the story of how I got involved and what I do with it. So.
That's awesome, man. Is it too soon to ask if in the divorce papers you just put down roll out? No, I'm sorry. That's a Transformers joke for every. So it's okay.
Who got custody of the shinies?
I got the shinies in the divorce. It's fine.
Worth it.
Dooley, what not only got you in the game, but made you so brazen to come on and tell better jokes than I do on my own show? I don't care for that part, but what got you into all of this?
Well, that's what happens when you have an actor on the show. Anyways,
but we have you, so there's that. Yeah.
So, I actually, before Pokemon Go, I was playing Ingress. I played that for a while. I stopped playing that when Pokemon Go came out, but I'm older too. I'm 53. I was not part of the demographics when Pokemon came out. When Pokemon came out, I didn't even know anything about it. It was not on my radar at all. It was, I believe it was around 2012, something. I don't know. When Pokemon X and Y came out on the 3DS, I was with my friend. It was Thanksgiving. We went out for dinner, and we decided to go to. This is when they started opening up Black Friday sales on Thanksgiving, and we were at Target, and they had Pokemon X and Y in the bin on sale. And she said to me, "You'd probably like this game." So I went and bought Pokemon X, and I was hooked. I love that game. I bought Pokemon Y so that I can load it on my other 3DS and do the trades and all that. And then I started getting every time another generation came out, I jumped on it. I've been playing every single main series game, so I became a huge Pokemon fan. Now, I started listening to your show when you guys started talking about what it's going to be like when this game does come out. When it was in beta, I've been listening to your show since the beginning. I was playing Ingress. I was like, wow, they're gonna make a Pokemon Go game like Ingress. That's awesome. A Pokemon game like Ingress. That's awesome. So I jumped on it. Well, I tried to jump on it the day that it came out, but I could not connect. So many people were playing. I could not even log in.
Nice.
I got in on the third day. So yeah, I know. I wish I could get it on the first day. So you have that like day one account, but no, I'm a day 3 account because I just could not connect. So many people were doing it, and I guess they didn't anticipate how big it was going to be because of the nostalgia factor. So that's how I got into it. I'm 50, like I said, I'm 53 years old. Pokemon, when it came out originally, was nowhere near my radar. Today, I play the main series games. I play the TCG, and I will be back on Pokemon Go. There's no question. I'm just, taking that stand right now, and. Sure. As a matter of fact, like I said, I live in Los Angeles. I'm going to be going to San Diego at some point soon. So yeah, I will have to reinstall it because I'll have to get a halucha when I'm down there. I mean, so it is going to happen.
And there's no shame in being over 50 and playing the game.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
But
I'll tell you, it's a little weird when I do play the TCG and I go like to shops. It's mostly kids playing there, and the funny part about it is, like, I understand the game. I'm pretty decent at it, but the kids are they're throwing the cards like boom, 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 and throwing out cards like this is an energy, this and this, take this card, boom, 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 boom. I'm like, whoa, slow down there, old guy here, and I'm like playing my cards slowly and carefully.
It's not speed chess.
Something that's interesting that happens out here. You talk about like seeing the kids. We have a lot of retirees out here, and they just flock to it. We'll have raid trains and stuff like that. And we've got people in their 70s and their 80s out there with us. and they're just as adamant about playing it as we are. So
I wish I had more friends that actually played it. It's like most of my regular friends, I'm the only one that actually plays it. Everybody else that I'm friends with, like in my regular day-to-day friends,
right.
I tried to get them into it. They just they just weren't. It's not their thing. It's not their cup of tea. So yeah. So when I go play it, I'm usually playing it by myself. And yes, I did enjoy the community. We had a raid train that was going on before COVID, and yeah, on a Saturday we would go and follow the raid train and do all the in-person raids. I haven't seen one starting up again since, but hopefully that will happen soon. And and if I jump back in the game, I'll be happy to do that again. It's not just the remote raid thing it was just the fact that they weren't listening. That's the reason I'm taking that stand. That's the reason I uninstalled it. I will be back. I know I will.
It's a interesting thing that it really has hit so many different communities. So there's a guy I work with at my ambulance company, and his name is Joe. And he's kind of like, imagine old biker dude, kind of not burned out, 'cause he's not burned out, but that grizzled is the word, grizzled paramedic. That's him. And of course, he's in my phone is Joe and his last name, and then Joe's in my phone is Joe and his last name. Well, I just typed too fast, and I hit Joe and hit the first one and sent the other Joe this headline about Monster Hunters and Niantic and Pokemon and all this, and realized, hey, sorry, wrong Joe, and send it to somebody else. He's, I think, in his 50s, this Joe, but he was like, give me grief for a second. It was like, yeah, when it first came out, I was playing it. My daughter would come visit me at work because I worked right next to a graveyard. The station he was at the time was right next to a graveyard. So his adult daughter, would come visit him at work just to go through the graveyard and catch Pokemon. And I still remember coming back from not Vegas, from Chicago. Brian Ibbett and I were at a conference in Chicago, met with I'm sorry, I just blanked on his name. Joe, the guy who started Pokemon GO Podcast.
Bo York.
Bo, thank you, Bo York. He had talked about it. He talked about the show. He talked about the hype, and the game came out while we were at the con, and he's playing it, and I still didn't get it. I come back from that conference and I was doing karaoke and trivia hosting at the time, and I went to host trivia at a Mellow Mushroom in a fairly, I'd say, redneck area. And everybody is on their phones. Everybody. And I finally asked one of the managers, it's like, what are y'all doing? What's going on? Because they're outside, they'd gone outside to smoke, and they were taking forever to come back in, which is unlike them. And they were playing Pokemon. And everybody was just fascinated by it. We couldn't hardly get trivia done that night because people were more interested in catching whatever was around and spinning the stops and everything than they were answering the questions. It has really been a huge cultural phenomenon. But Joe, I'll throw it back to you here. I'm hearing, Dooley missing that his friends don't play, but Brock Eddie's loving that he has the people to play with. I think I would love this game more if one of two things had happened. One, if I'd gotten the Pokemon love when it first came out, which I did miss that as well. Or two, that anybody in my family or friends group had caught it, had jumped in on it, and, to go out walking with them and have something to go, this is our thing to do. I think that would have kept me more in the game. What about yourself?
Before we all got sent home for COVID, at least those with office jobs, obviously you couldn't go
sent home.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. So before that though, I used to play at work, and we still have it, though it's been quiet for a very long time, a Discord server set up just for the people at work, because there are at my work, the last time I was there, which actually was, I don't know, a couple months ago for an activity with my team. But anyway, there's like 3 gyms at my work and like 4 other stops. And so with the expanded range from where my desk used to be, I could have interacted with probably 3 stops and 2 gyms without moving from my desk. And so I think that would have been a very different story to my enjoyment if I was still in the office. Because I've got good experiences of playing Pokemon Go with my coworkers, saying, "Hey, do we have enough for this raid that's gonna be popping up in 45 minutes? Let's go over there. Anybody, and a lot of it was, hey, no, I've got a meeting at that time. I can't. Blah blah. But you know, a lot of times we get people to jump in.
So behind the scenes, though, the funniest part of that story is they had almost enough people to do a raid in their office one day, and they needed one more person. And so Joe just goes by this guy's desk. Bob, I think he told me his name was. He's like, Bob, come on, let's go smoke. Bob's like, I don't smoke. You're like, you do now. Come on and do this raid. And that was, to see Joe be that aggressive was really amazing. I loved it.
And that was the start of Pokemon Joe.
All right, so we're kind of at our time now. So I want to go around one more round the table, and looks like doof of a kid left. But that's okay. Let's we're just by order of the screen. I'll go around and call your name by what I see here. Just what you're looking forward to or what you did love about it, and if you have something to promote, like a channel on Twitch or Twitter or TikTok or anywhere else, go ahead and promote yourself. So I'll start on my screen where I see it. Rock Eddie, something you love and something you can promote.
All right. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for all the episodes. Since was it like 5 years now, 6 years? You've been doing this?
Almost 7.
Yeah.
Well,
damn, almost 7. Wow.
Almost 7 with Charles. I've been on the show for over 7 years.
Every time.
That's right.
Every time.
Honestly, I do want to say I'm very thankful to this game because it's allowed me to make friends in new cities. I worked all over the place, and I've been to so many areas where I've just made friends through the game. And now with Campfire, it's so much easier to meet new people. Honestly, Campfire is amazing. Why I made so many new people in my city. So I'm very thankful to this game for allowing me to have fellow nerdy friends like me that I can feel comfortable with. And I'm not really sure if I'm gonna get back into streaming, but if I do, I'll be at School of Rock Eddie.
There you go. Mr. Tambourine 19 and a half.
Yes, sir.
So
well
what do you love? And if you have something to promote, you throw it down.
Well, what I love was, mainly getting out with my son. My older son's one that got us into the game, but he kind of fell off of the game. But me and my younger son got to do a lot of bonding. As you know, we've gone up to Atlanta a couple times for the Go Fest and met up with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's kind of what I'm going to miss most, because that gave us a time, just me and him hanging out together. Me and the older boy, we got a music thing going.
Nice.
And we kind of hang out together and go places on that. So, but that's what I'm going to miss the most is going out and like meeting you guys. And I thought we was going to do it to Chattanooga this year, but it looks like that's Go Fest isn't going to happen or whatever. We'll see. But yeah, that's what I'm missing.
We might have a Wise and Nerdy Fest this year in Chattanooga. We'll have to see.
Wise and Nerdy.
So no, I love it. Lincoln Prime. What do you love?
Pretty much like Rock Eddie. I love the community. I really like being able to sit down and it's not just about the game. We can enjoy each other and tell our stories about our kids and funny things that happen to us during the week and even cry on each other's shoulder. It's the group I'm with, the gal who runs it. She calls up people on community day. Hey, do you need to ride? Can you ride around with me? It's Phoenix. It's hot. But she's got a nice car with air conditioning. It's that sort of thing that I really appreciate. What I want to promote. We are doing the raid train again. It's going to start on April 30th, 10 a.m., and it's going to be at Pioneer Park, downtown Mesa, Arizona. All are welcome. Just make sure you go into the into the shop and get that coin to change it over to Valor.
Yeah, put a Valor.
So all teams are welcome. Even the other ones.
And just remember, the Valor team is the blue one.
Right.
See, we're openly aggressive. Mystic is passive aggressive, and Instinct is just yellow. Duly noted. What do you love?
Okay, yep. It's still a fun game. Like I said, I uninstalled it. It's more of a protest than anything else. I know I'm going to be back, and you know what? Maybe when I do come back, I'll switch. I'm on Team Blue. Maybe I will switch to Red, and just to change it up and make it interesting again. But yeah, I mean, the community. We had Community Day. There would be people that I know from Community Day. They're not friends like that I would call on a regular basis and see, like my regular friends. They're my Community Day friends. So yeah, I kind of would miss that. So I will likely be back. This is just a temporary thing for me, just to kind of make my point, make a stance. Because I still love Pokemon, and no matter what form it's in, I just do wish that they would listen to the community a little bit more, and I'm hoping that by myself and by other people stopping to play, that they realize, hey, you know what, maybe we should listen to the community a little bit more. So I'm hoping that happens. But yeah, I can't hate on the game. It's still a fun game. I'll call this a break, if anything. So yeah, I mean, and like I said, I still play Niantic games. I started with Ingress. I play the NBA Oral World, which is a lot of fun. I just wish more people played it. There's not many players in my area, and which is crazy because I'm in like Lakerstown. I mean, come on. But yeah, as far as I'll throw out a little promotion here. Well, actually, let me tell you what I'm going to miss most is you guys. Well, this I'll catch you on I'll have to check out your new podcast, but I've always looked forward. Even though I have not been able to attend your shows live like I used to, I've been doing physical therapy on Tuesdays and Thursdays since I had a shoulder surgery in August. And just as my schedule changes and I'm able to attend, you close down your show. Thank you for that.
Okay, we got you. I'm glad you brought that up. We're going to take a break from May 4th because Joe has an obligation that night. So next week will be the last live episode of Pokemon Go Podcast.
I'll be here for that.
Good. And then May 4th will be off because, Joe believes in Star Wars or something.
And 4th be with you.
Exactly. But then the week after, we'll be back on this channel.
It's the holiday of my people.
Yeah. We're going to look at what it takes to actually change the name. So it'll be twitch.tv/wiseandnerdy. We'll be back on this channel doing the live show here. Just instead of talking about Pokemon, we'll be talking about life and stories and bad dad advice and good dad advice and all the other stuff. So
yeah. Also, and let me just start out my channel. So, little self promotion since you're allowing it. So catch me on YouTube. I want to do more on YouTube. I have some stuff that I throw on there. I throw on some of my acting stuff on there. I was loving it when Twitch Sings was around. I was doing that a lot on YouTube. But I am youtube.com/Dooley, DOOLEY, youtube.com/Dooley. You can find me on Twitch when I start streaming again, which I will be streaming again soon. I am DooleyProductions, and that's the name of my company. And on Twitter @DooleyNoted, DOOLEYNOTED. So I hope we all keep in touch. Definitely looking forward to your show. But yeah, even if we don't see you guys out in the community, come follow me on my other platforms and keep in touch because you built up a good community here. And I appreciate that.
You guys made it the good community. We just made a way as well. I think about it. Gotta catch them all. I love that Dooley said, gotta catch them all. I love it. It's a great name. That's blame Jamal.
That's not the first time I've heard that.
I'm just saying. Sometimes you can rebrand is all.
Yeah. So I've been listening.
Actually, do you have a brother named Juan? Because I've heard that if you've seen Juan, you've seen Jamal.
Ooh. Well, I don't know if you've listened to my podcast, but I have a dad joke segment, and I might incorporate that into it. So,
yeah, my dad jokes, by the way.
And I have dad jokes on TikTok, DooleyProductions.
Yeah, so I don't know for those who've listened to my podcast, right smack dab in the middle, we take a break, and I do 2 minutes of dad jokes every episode. So, no, but Charles, I want to thank you. You and a couple other Pokemon podcasts kind of inspired me to take the plunge and to hit go on the microphone and just start talking. And if no one's listening, but I'm having a blast. But I'm going to miss you guys. You guys were like one of the first Pokemon podcasts that I listened to. And I didn't know a lot about Pokemon, so I was listening for the education, but you guys are entertaining, man. Like when you had, you've had a couple iterations of your show with different people on there or not, but like you and Joe, like I said, I listened to you guys read the phone book. I really enjoy you guys. So Wise and Nerdy, is that the name of the new podcast?
It is.
It is.
I'm going to be listening. I just gifted a sub, so hopefully you guys will let me come back in here, and maybe I'll get a gift another sub next time I'm on. I understand the support that it needs, but the thing that I'm going to miss, I'm going to still play because, I've got a podcast of my own, and so I need to play to kind of make sure that I can get on and talk about the things I need to do. I'm not a big protest person in my real life, so I mean, I do what I think is right as far as trying to support the community. And one of the things that I'm doing is I'm actively reaching out to rural trainers and saying, let me help you get something in your neighborhood. I know the rules. I know how many POIs you need to get a gym. I can be strategic and get one approved first and then help you get the second approved. And then the second one turns into a gym. I can help you get something closer. If you're in a wheelchair, great. Let's figure out somewhere you normally go and let's get a Pokestop or a gym there. That's how I'm kind of helping out. Even in my personal life, I'm not a person that goes and marches down the street and protests. That's just not me.
Sure.
So, that's just my personal thing. But I'm in Charlotte, and I know you guys are in Tennessee and in Georgia. And if you guys have something, it's a 3 or 4 hour drive either way. So don't be surprised if I pop up.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
And if there is a Go Fest this year, which I'm pretty sure there's going to be, whether it's in Seattle or wherever it is, if you guys are there, sit down, buy you a beer or a glass of Malort or something, and we can go from there.
Charles's favorite.
Yeah.
Fun story though. I bought my dream motorcycle a couple weeks ago in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay, so nice.
I was up there and did that.
All right. And if I see you, I'm going to get you a Slurpee wherever we bump into each other. I'm going to buy you a Slurpee.
I dig it. We'll do that all day long.
And then last, and then I'll stop talking. We have a chance to promote something. So if you are interested in other Niantic games other than Pokemon Go, Ingress, Pikmin Bloom, NBA, we try to talk a little bit of all of those on our podcast. And the best way to find us is just go to Linktree and type in Wayspotters, WAYSPOTTERS. That will show you every place you can download our show. We have just taken the plunge into YouTube and Twitch and TikTok. So we have things on all the platforms now. We're kind of digging in on video. Don't want to get passed up by the competition. So thanks for giving me a chance to say that. And like I said, I will. Are you guys going to be in this same feed, or are you going to go to a different feed? Or are you just going to rename this feed?
No,
okay. I hit the bell, so you guys download every time you get a show. So I'll be listening. And what I'll do, Charles and Joe, is now that there's a new show, I'll get in on the beginning, because when I'm coming in on the tail end of this, but I can be like one of the first people and be in on the inside jokes instead of trying to understand them. So I'm going to get in on episode 1 and listen, but I appreciate what you do. I also listened, Charles, to your other show you did, telling the stories. I listened to the entire season. I'm hoping you do another one.
I'm working on it.
He's been threatening.
It's awesome. I did. I binged the entire season, and I thought that was pretty cool, the stories you told. So thanks for giving me the time, and I'll cede the rest of it to someone else.
Absolutely. The chair recognizes the great man from the state of North Carolina. No, you actually inspired me. You and Dooley both here with these. I hate dad jokes. I'll just go tell you, I hate that, and I hate puns. I really do. But
well, you know how a joke becomes a dad joke, right? It will become apparent.
I'm gonna kick him. I'm gonna ban him from the stream, Joe. I got to. But on Wise and Nerdy, we've stumbled into this kind of dad energy. Well, both of us are dads and whatever. And we tried some bad dad advice segments, and it didn't work out. But one night in our practice runs, I came into the intro and was like, what did I say? Just like, oh yeah, daddy, we're back. And so it set the tone for the whole thing. And that kind of became, Mr. Tamarine 19, and our patrons get to listen to it as we're practicing. But he's like, hashtag, oh yeah, daddy. And it's become this thing. And wouldn't it be fun, Joe, to end the episode after I'm like, yep, that's it. And we bring it back together before the music rolls for the podcast. You've got the dad joke of the week. and it'll be from people like Dooley and Blame Jamal submitting them. So there's that. Joe's trying not to puke at the idea, but I'm throwing it out there.
Hey,
I
I'm up for that.
love on air programming. I love that.
Yeah. So, and Joe, it's time to wrap up this episode. Give us something that you've loved about the game, and we'll go ahead and skip to the Twitter part.
There has been a ton that I've loved about the game. With all my belly aching over the past month, past year really, there have been a ton of excellent experiences. Like one of the first ones that comes to mind is when El Barto, he was in Chattanooga for business, and him and I got together multiple times over the week that he was here. He came and ate dinner with my family, and it was just awesome. And actually, that was the first time I caught a shiny Magikarp. Was with him while we were going on a walk in the morning before we both had to work. And just things like that, going to Go Fest, meeting all the different people at Go Fest, Cheeky Nashville.
We are going to have to reach out to Cheeky.
Right?
Yep.
Get him to do a spot for us as well. Yeah, it was just, there's been so many. Tom with all of his fraud talk, and there's just the thing that has in common though with all of the experiences that come to my mind when you say, what were some of the best times? It was spending time with people, but it wasn't. Again, I'll say it. I'm not one to just spend time with random people who I have no connection with. This is people who almost exclusively I met through the show, and it's been amazing, and it's been fantastic, and all of the positivity, not always about Niantic, but the positivity in general, it's been amazing.
I would agree. I will say, I want to wish this for Blame Jamal and the way he's helping out. I always love to give, right? I hear what he's saying. I resonate with that. I'm like, man, that's not something I can do, but that you're helping change people's communities in a real way, and you're helping them through this game, this and that and the other. What I've loved is by giving, it's changed me and my family's life. Paul Puck has done many, many things for us as hosts, and just then we connected, he and I, through COVID privately, and it's been a cool relationship there. Barry Falk, even to the Cheeky Nashvilles and the Duly Noteds who have called in and given those bits and stuff. A co-creation is one of the most special things I think you can do in the world. And not only have people co-created, there's something going on outside my window. I don't know what's going on there, but it has literally changed my family's path in life, and it's been an amazing thing to do, and it would not have been possible without this game. It would not have been possible without the potential business opportunity, because I didn't care about this game, but I cared about the business behind the game. What is going on outside?
And Charles's actual favorite experience, he doesn't want to say it because he doesn't want a Roll Tide spam in the chat, but his absolute favorite time in the game was getting a Bidoof from Tambourine Jr.
I traded him something amazing. I don't remember what it was. It was like, a shiny Drober or something. I don't know. It was something amazing, and he gave me a Bidoof. So
I think
stays true to who he is.
If I remember correctly, you gave him one of the regionals that we got from Go Fest, like Pachirisu or something.
Something like that. So all that being said, it's been a great ride. We're going to be back next week. Rob Roberts has said he's going to try to join us. Some other people have said they're going to try to join us. We'll open up the chat again in the Discord and let people join us, because we want to go out the way we came in, positive, investing in the community, building and telling people what we love about it. So we will be back then, and then in 2 weeks from now. So that's next week, which is April 27th or 28th, somewhere in there. And then May the 4th, Joe is out forcing somebody to do something, but I'll be researching the next step, and then come what's 7 and 4? 13, I guess May 13th is when we'll be
11th.
back live. 11th is 4, whatever.
4 and
I don't
7 is
care.
11.
It's the 21st or something. It'll be there. Just Joe. Listen to Joe. He's the factual person on the show. So May 11th, we'll be back here live on Twitch. Right now it is Pokemon GO Podcast on Twitch, but we're going to see about changing that as well, but use the same channel. So if you already subscribed to this channel on Twitch, you'll get a notification that we're live.
But the name will change.
But the name will change, right? And the graphics and stuff. The podcast stream is going to stay the same. The feed is going to stay the same. So if you're subscribed to Pokemon GO Podcast, you'll start getting Wise and Nerdy as we roll it out live as well. We've already started dropping some pre-episodes to get you used to it and get you a taste for it.
And we'll have some temporary show art because we are commissioning our artwork, our show art through an artist. So it'll be good.
It's going to be really good. So, Joe,
So would you say the name's going to be changed to protect the innocent? Wow.
Oh my God.
Charles doesn't even know.
Joe, where can I find you on the web?
You can find me on Twitter at Joseph_Ard. What about you, Charles?
Yeah, you can listen to my podcast, Finding the Stories, and I have gotten the materials over to a producer to get season 2 finished out, and so we can get that published. And then, of course, Rock Got a Podcasting all across social media. So check us out. Tune in next week to hear Joe say.
I think if Doof of a Kid comes next time, I'm going to just turn all my Bidoofs into candy live on air in front of his face.
Yes! Get him! You teach that kid. They shouldn't mess with adults.